Okay.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Or I have to look outside to see if it's sunny or not. But at least we know we're alive and well. So we are very grateful to God for having the opportunity to be here with you. And we just want to take an opportunity as well to welcome you to this platform, acknowledged as Project 365. We're grateful to God to have the opportunity to render hope, encouragement, and inspiration to you, our audience, and the whole wide world. Let me bring in my co-host at this time.
Hello, everyone. I am Takira Swan, and I'm so happy to be here with you on this beautiful, beautiful Thursday. We have a great guest today who's already made me laugh, and we just got started. But so I cannot wait to hear what he has to say. But before we get started, I just ask our viewers to please go to our YouTube page if you have not done so already. Please like, share, subscribe so that you can help us bring hope, encouragement, and inspiration to the entire world.
To the entire world. We're grateful. Well, I am Portia Wheatley. I am the founder and the president of a nonprofit organization acknowledged as Trophy of Life. And that is what we actually do. We render hope, encouragement, and inspiration. And we, along with Project 365, we're just making it happen. We're just making it happen. And we need you to help us join our team and let's make it happen. Well, before we start, I want to give a great big shout out to Miss Carolyn Jackson, who is a faithful viewer from Portsmouth, Virginia. Portsmouth, Virginia. And we're so grateful. We're just so grateful. We are grateful for you, Mother Jackson. We're glad that you actually pray for us, because this woman right there, she's a prayer warrior. Don't forget, continue to pray for me. Continue to pray for Takira, and please pray for our guest. Oh my God, but we are grateful to you, Mother Jackson. I really do appreciate you viewing and praying for us. Well, today we have a wonderful opportunity to welcome a gentleman who I've known for quite a few years. And this is from his days of being in middle school. So, and Alice, you don't have to tell us how many years, because they would tell them, you know. Anyway, he's full of energy, positive energy. He's a great man of God, and we're just so grateful to have him here to share on the topic that it's possible to actually perform what you are here on earth to perform, as far as your purpose. Even though you've had a fall, you can still survive. You can still accomplish your goals. So when you're going through life and it seems as though what you've experienced has stopped you, has caused you to just forget about life, don't do that. Don't do that. Let me encourage you now. Don't do that, because if God has done it for Alvis Rene Fox, our guest today, he will definitely do it for you. Hang in there, hold on, and let's hear from Alvis on today. I know you see the A.R. Fox, but I only know Mr. Fox by Alvis. So I said, I'm calling you Alvis today. But I love you, man, and God bless you. But you can have the platform at this time.
Thank you so much. Thank you all for having me. To Miss Wheatley. Yes, she's known me since middle school days. to Takira, to the co-host. Thank you all so much. I'm so excited to be here. Even though I'm nervous, I'm excited to be here. Before I get started, I'll share this. We were in middle school. There was like four of us, and we were like terrorizers, and we would always have to go to the office. But Miss Wheatley, she still to this day still say, "And I believe in you." And I said, "Yeah, I believe you. Believe we gonna come back in here tomorrow too." But she was a source of inspiration, and I reminded her of that. So I want to share a little bit of my story, that you can get up from a fall no matter how bad you think that fall is. I fell from grace, or fell out of good graces, in 2009, April 2009. I had got indicted for embezzlement, with the state of Maryland, with one of my supervisors. It was over like $3.2 million. Um, and it was like detrimental. And when you get into something, you say, "Oh, this is my last time, I'm not going to do it anymore." And we looked around, and it was 2 years later. um, but when I fell hard. And I was my worst critic. And I blamed myself, because I was in church. I was a new appointed elder in the church, and I just was like, "Oh my God, I can't believe this happened." And so I went through a stage of withdrawal. And I'll admit to anyone, I do have a problem where I will withdraw myself. But the fall has taught me. I've had people, and what was detrimental to me, my leader at that time came to visit me. I was in Towson, and she came to visit me, and she said to me, "You know better, this is detrimental." And she basically murdered me while I was there. So her words sank in, and they took root in me. They took root. And so I figured, she said, "You'll never bounce back. You'll never be nothing. Everything that God has planned for you, he done changed his mind." And she got up and walked away. And so, like I said, I was there. I was incognito. And because of my name, a lot of people know my dad. And people, guys were talking to me, "Look out for me." And what happened was, one of the saints actually worked at the jail. And so she saw me, and I said, "Well, everybody's going to know now." So it drove me deeper into a state of depression. And so what happened was, along with that fall, I started drinking. And that kind of covered it up. But I lived with a mask. Because when my friends would come and see me there, when my wife would come and see, she would bring the kids, or my mom, whenever I called home, "Oh, I'm doing good, and everything is good, and I'm chilling, I'm maintaining." But inside, I was dying, and I began to drift more and more into that fallen state. We went to court. I was there 3 months and 24 days. And we went to court, and I remember the morning, Judge Alexander said, 30 years. That's all I heard, y'all, was 30 years. He said, all suspended, but 3 months and 24 days, which was the time that I served. So I came home. My birthday is August 23rd. I came home on August 24th. They picked me up that Monday. I came home. To be honest with you, I was so embarrassed and in a state of depression where I did not want to go home. I would have rather just disappeared and stayed there. And as I got home, some of the saints were, "Oh, you home?" I didn't want to talk to anybody. I only associated with my wife, my kids, and my mom. That was it. I didn't speak to anybody else. My aunts, my uncles, cousins, did not conversate with them. I didn't conversate with them till about October, November, because I was so embarrassed. And my daughter's godmother sent me a message from Pastor Calloway in Baltimore. She says, "Where's Fox?" Because I didn't go to any conventions or anywhere. She said, "Tell him that that fall that he had, that's old news. Nobody's even thinking about that anymore. People are on to something different." And it kind of shocked me, like the jaws of life when you're resuscitating somebody. It resuscitated me because I was done with church. I was. Now I would bounce in to somebody's church who didn't know me. I would go there maybe, and visit, maybe once or twice, and then that was it. But I was like, no church, no nothing for me. And when she sent that message, like I said, it sent the jaws of life to me, and it resuscitated me. It resuscitated me. It resuscitated me to the point was the next week, one of my friends asked me, because I'm an adjutant in the United Church, he asked me, could I come and serve with him? And I was like, okay, I'll go. We're at a funeral, you all. We're at a funeral, okay? We're at the cemetery burying a bishop. My presider turns around. I knew he knew nothing was going on with me. He did not know what happened. These people knew nothing. And he began to minister to me at the cemetery. And he said these words to me: "Those dead things, leave them here where they belong." And I was like, what? He said, "Leave those dead things here where they belong." I don't think Bishop Saunders even remember that day, but that's what happened. I was already on the jaws of life from Pastor Calloway, so he sent people to resuscitate me in my traumatic state because I was really on life support. My life was on life support. You understand? And he sent them to resuscitate me. So with that on my background, and this is how you can rise up against the fall. With that on my background, it was hard for me to get employment. Okay, it was hard for me to get employment. I never walked across the stage in high school. I dropped out in the 12th grade. But I had jobs where you're supposed to have degrees. This is how God works. This is how God works. He's always placed me in positions where you're supposed to have this, and this. But because I don't have this and this, he goes before me with my personality and he opens up the way for me. So my grandmother became ill. So I took care of my grandmother, and from that, I learned skills, and I went and took a course in CNA, and I got that, and I said, you know what? Okay, now Miss Wheatley said earlier, I ain't let nobody come in my space. I went in other people's space. So I said, you know what? I'm going to start my own business. So in April of 2011, I started All Star Home Health Care, and it was very good, and it's still in existence to this day. Then from there, then from All Star Home Healthcare, I said, oh, I think I want to try my hand at bail bondsman. So I sent one of my good brothers to school, and we launched Empire Bail Bond Business. So I'm telling you, you don't have to get stuck, and it's good. Just hold your seat. If you think that's good, just hold your seat. So from there, then from there, I opened up what they call a bodega, which is a convenience store in Park Heights, right? So I'm excited. I'm enjoying life. Now, he has resuscitated me, but I did not go back to find out what his plan was for me. He allowed Alvis to do everything he wanted. Everything he wanted, whatever I wanted to do, I thought it, I sat down, I planned it, and I launched it. Okay. And so December of 2017, I get in a very bad car accident. Very bad car accident. I see my aunt is on, she's listening. And the car flipped over 3 times. 3 times. I walked away. We walked out of the car. If you see the pictures of the car, you'll be like, how did you do that? How did you walk away? And so we're sitting at Riverside Hospital. We were going to my uncle's funeral in Virginia. And I asked God, what is it that you want from me? The state trooper walked in and said, we don't know how you survived, because the eyewitness said that the van had flipped over 3 times. And I asked God, I said, God, what is it that you want from me? He says, I've given you a ministry. And we always talk about the scripture of reconciliation. Because what I found out in my fall is that when most folk fall, we don't restore them properly. So he allowed those two leaders to show me what restoration was. Even though my first leader came to me and tried to murder me. Now, these other two weren't even my leaders yet. But so they were surgical assistants in the operation of what God wanted to perform in my life. So I said, okay, God. No, I was like, no, God was like, I called you with the message of reconciliation and hope. That's why when you first asked me, I was like, nah, Miss Wheatley ain't gonna get me on there talking to nobody because people don't understand. I'm really a shy person. But with that, I still ran from my reconciliation process. And I tell anybody, my next move was not going to be a pastor. Taki, I was going to open me up a strip club. Girl, I was ready, do you hear me? But then I started to come in contact with like people that went through some of the things that I had went through. And I fell. And I was able to tell them, you can get up. Why? Because I'm the witness that I fell and I fell hard. I fell hard. Those who knew, and I'll say this, the ministry that I belonged to at that time, they basically murdered me and put me in a coffin, because I was like such a bad person. And, when people fall, they do want to tell the side of their story, but what they need most is someone that's going to listen to them. Someone that's going to listen to them. My friends that came to see me, they listened because I needed to express myself. And we have to build safe places. I thank God for this platform because it's a safe place. And when something is safe, then it's able to bring about deliverance. It's able to bring about deliverance. Like I said, I wouldn't go anywhere. I wouldn't go around people, then, not only did I suffer in the fall, but my wife and my family suffered in the fall as well. Because people are asking, well, how's Alvis? And she would basically say, pray for him. But she couldn't tell nobody, y'all, my husband is dying. My husband is dying. In fact, he's dead. And they're trying to resuscitate me. They're trying to say, it's not that bad. But in my mind, and I tell anybody, if you fall, the first thing to do is forgive yourself. And then find out what your purpose and your plan and the lesson is through the fall. What is the lesson? What is the purpose? What is the plan? What is the plan? So I learned that my purpose and my plan, restoration and reconciliation, is one of my passions. Because if God can do it for me, he can do it for anybody. As Apostle Paul said, the chiefest of sinners, I was that person. Because when I fell, that spirit that captivated me came along with so much other stuff attached to it. It came with other things that attached itself to it. I started running around. I was going in and out. I was in South Carolina like, oh my God, like it was nobody's business. And I'm down there chilling like I don't have a whole wife and family at home. When you fall, you have to surround yourself with people who are going to not agree with you, but they are going to hold you accountable. They're going to hold you accountable. None of my friends, none of them. My wife used to say, no, get up. Get up and get yourself together. My friends used to tell me, get up and get yourself together. This is not you. You know better than this. But until I was able to have my spirit open and to say, okay, every dead place in me, I'm going to leave it here at this cemetery. I'm going to leave it here at the cemetery. So I set myself with goals. I went back. I earned my high school diploma. Where I used to be embarrassed about that, I'm not embarrassed anymore. I'm not embarrassed because I can sit in a room with CEO and presidents and hold a proper conversation and still run out with a sealed deal. I've serviced millionaires. God has really taken me to a place where they taught me. Millionaires have taught me. When you in business, it's business. It ain't family. It's business. And I had to. That's why he took me the route that he took me. So don't despise the fall, because there's always a lesson in the fall. There's always a lesson in the fall. And no matter how hard you fall, you can get back up again. You can get back up again. All you have to do is take his hand. Don't allow people's words and their actions to take root in your soil. And that's very important. What you allow to be planted inside of you is what's going to grow and what's going to manifest. That's what's going to manifest. And so if you allow people's negative words like I did, they begin to take root. Like I said, I went back that day. I was like, oh, I'm going to be nothing. Oh, I really messed up, you know. And to be honest with you, that's why I started going by a Rene. I really started going by Rene. And I dropped the Alvis, and I really dropped the Fox. And I started going by Rene Scurry because I said, well, I'll take my mother's maiden name. But boy, you still got the same face. You can't change your face. So I said all that to say, don't change yourself. Don't change yourself. You change those things around you. You reach for your goals. You come out of that dirt and out of that mire. Pick yourself up. Put yourself on a goal schedule. Say, this is what I want to do, and this is the time that I want to do it by. And with the help, and the main important thing that I can say, seek God. Seek God for the understanding of, because there is a lesson to be learned in the fall. Because if you don't learn the lesson, you're going to repeat it. You're going to repeat it. You understand? You're going to repeat it. Had I learned when Miss Wheatley used to tell us, go back to class and keep your mouth closed. That's all you got to do, Alvis, is keep your mouth closed. Had I learned that later on, when I became an adult, I would have known how to bridle my tongue. I would have known how to bridle my tongue. So we have to understand that there's always a lesson in the fall. And now I thank God, honestly, every day that I live, I'm just like, I'm grateful for the fall. I am. I don't glory in what I did. I don't glory in it. But it was a learning process for me. It was a learning process for me. It was. And so I just wanted to share that with you all today.
That was wonderful. That so much was said in that segment. Alvis, you have blessed a lot of people.
Wow.
And we oftentimes say that this platform is not just for those who are believers,
yes,
but therefore it's for unbelievers as well. And then there are many, many believers now who have been through a situation like you've been through, but they don't want to tell the story. They don't want to be transparent. So the people that are not believers are thinking you've pretty much been like this all your life. You've been a goody two shoes all your life. You've been in Christ all your life. So they don't want to push forward. And then individuals like the woman that came to you while you were in prison, believers, we have to watch our words.
Yes.
Words kill.
Yes.
Words
Yes.
kill.
Yes.
As well as words can also give life. Death and life are in the power of the tongue. That little piece of flesh in our mouths, it can do a lot of damage, but it can also do a lot of good when it's used for the glory and honor of God. I would imagine that when you were in jail, that was probably one of the lowest moments in your life.
It was. It was really one of the lowest. And the thing about it is, it's so funny because there is an elder from your church who came to teach the Bible class, and everybody kept asking me to come to Bible class. And he was like, I know you. You're related to such and such and such. And I was like, nah, that ain't me. I said, maybe somebody looked like me. And he called out one of my older cousins' name. He was like, no, because she's one of our campus pastors, and I know that she knows you. So he took me to the side, and over the course of time, he tried to resuscitate me, but I become so hard. It was a very low point in my life. And that's what I tell anybody. In the fall, you're going to become hard. You're going to become hard. So it may take one person, it may take a group of people to soften that hard shell, because I become hard like a coconut. I was in a state, as Bishop Joan Sanders used to say, of I don't care is a bad place to be. And that's where I was. I was in I don't care. And it was a very low state. It was, yes.
A very low state. And that's where hope comes in. You got to, if you don't have that hope, what is the need? You don't care. You really don't care.
You really don't care.
But it's amazing that did she ever render an apology to you?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. No.
And many people are on life support these days. Many people are on life support, and believers need to hear from God, and don't be so righteous, or don't be so heavenly minded that we're no earthly good. That's right. We can't go and render ourselves as instruments of God to go and give them life support.
That's true.
Give them a hand up, but we have to let them know. We've been there, done that. Right. If he did it for Alvis, if he did it for me, if he did it for Takira, he can definitely do it for you. That is the thing. It's amazing. God is faithful. I have to go back and play this again, because I'm like, this is the Alvis from middle school. I'm telling you, God is faithful. Is Miss Gary still with us today?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
She passed away?
Yeah, she passed away in August. But as you know, you teach grief. Grief is real. But even with that, God has been merciful to me. He's been gracious to me. And I'll share a little bit of this. When Mom was diagnosed, Mom was 68. She had just turned 68. And the doctor came in, the doctor told us that day, it'll be 6 months, planned, she's not going to be here past 6 months. And in the midst of that, God had called me to pastor. My mom was there with me. And her testimony was, God did just what he said. God did just what he said. And so Mom passed away at the age of 71, because I told God in that office, I said, you promised us 70. You promised us 70. So by reasonable health and strength, you give us 80. I need my 70 out of her. I need my 70. And so when she passed away in August, on my birthday, she passed away on the 6th, but on my birthday, God said, I gave you more. He said, I gave you 71. Amen. I gave you 71. Amen. So that has been a consolation and a peace for me. It's been a peace for me. And she told me, she said, Alvis, she always called me little Alvis. She said, I'm going to be gone. She said, but hold on to your deliverance. And I hold that. She said, hold on to your deliverance. So I don't let anything detour me from helping somebody else to be delivered, helping somebody else.
It is so fulfilling when you can actually reach back in the things that's happened in your life. You've gone through the process, and now you can turn around and help someone else. That is what it's all about. Yes. And especially when you're being used by God. Now, it's a little different when you go out there all cocky and want to, see me do this, see me do that.
Right.
But when God is in it, when God is being glorified through it, watch some doors open. Watch people, watch your name go out in the community and in the state and in the world, because you're doing it because of God and not Alvis and not Portia and not Takira. When we do this for the glory and honor of God, God opens doors. We don't have to go and open the door ourselves. God opens the door and welcome us in, because we're needed on the other side of that door.
So true.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome.
What is your wife's name?
My wife's name is Tremelia Nicole.
Tamira?
Tremelia Nicole. We call her Nikki. Yes, we call her Nikki.
Nikki, you need a trophy.
She's listening, so everybody says that. Everybody says that. She does. Putting up with me for 30 years, married 25.
30. Wow.
30 years.
That's a
Yes.
blessing.
Yes.
Absolutely. Nikki, that
Yes.
is a blessing. God bless you. God bless you. It is a blessing. So, but look, what are businesses or do you have that are still thriving? What do you have? Because we want to make sure we put those businesses in the comment section so that people can see another African-American Black man who is about business and giving glory to God.
Yes. All-Star Home Healthcare is still in existence, and it's a part of Home Sweet Home. And then Empire Bail Bonds is still in existence. And then I'm just launched, well, Rene Fox LLC is still in existence as well. But I just launched the CLS Community Outreach Foundation. And that is the Carolyn L. Scary Community Outreach Foundation. And we will be based in the Curtis Bay area.
Curtis Bay?
The Lord is sending me to Curtis Bay. Exactly. I'm like, what, God? He was like, I want you to go to Curtis Bay. So I've been going there, surveying the land. I've looked at several properties, and that's where we're going to be. We want to give back because I believe ministry is just more than being in that four walls. You know, I want to have a men and women shelter. I want to have a family shelter. I want to have a safe place where people who can come. I want to have a cooking school, like a cooking class for the young people. We can't just say, oh, they need to be off the corners, and then we're not giving them anything to get off of the corners. So that is the point for CLS. It will be an extension of our ministry, but that's going to be the real ministry part. That's going to be the real ministry part. Yes.
The email address that you sent me your photo, that I requested your photo with, send me that information and I will make sure that information gets into the comment section so that our listeners and our audience is able to support, because I'm a believer that talk is cheap.
That's right.
And people that say, well, you know, we should be doing this, but what are we doing?
What are we doing?
What are we doing? Just like you said, it's more, church is more, or shall I say ministry, it's more than coming to church, dancing, and I love to dance.
Right.
Dancing and all of that. But we have to, don't get it started to Kira. Don't. But we're going to do it. We're going to support. Okay. Yeah. And I'm going to be checking it out as well, because, you know, we live in the same area. Yeah. And I'll be there. I'll be there.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. I appreciate it.
We're excited to have you.
Well, I already knew I was going to like you. So, because I said I loved your energy, and I still do. I am so happy to have met you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
No, seriously, your story and your journey really is inspiring. And I feel like everyone can get something out of this, because all of us are human and nobody is perfect.
That's right.
So number one, I just want to make the point, you know, we are not here to judge. Okay. So nobody judge our guests today like, oh, no. Right. Because you have your own stuff, you just didn't get caught yet. So, okay, all of us have something, you know, just people may not know about it. And one thing I just want to encourage our viewers today is, you know, we always say our life, you know, is bigger than ourselves. And I am just a firm believer in that whatever you're going through or whatever you struggle with, that is something that God is giving you to learn from, like you said, and to make it your passion, make it part of your purpose. Because why would he have you going through all that, you know? Yeah. So someone who did some time for embezzlement, okay, has multiple prospering businesses, doing it the right way. You see what I'm saying? Like everything comes full circle. So anyone that could have said to you, like that person that said, well, you're never going to do this, you're never, It's like God took that situation and put you on a platform and said, no, watch what I can do, because we're all his children. And you're not going to, you know, you're not going to judge my child from a mistake that he purposed anyway. So
he purposed, yeah.
How about that?
Yes.
Because people will get that later. But you said 4 points that were really good. And I just want to emphasize them. The first thing you said is you have to forgive yourself.
Mhm.
Guys, that is the hardest part. Like if you can get past that forgiving yourself, I'm telling you, you're on your way. It doesn't matter what you've done. Because think about it. Just think about it. Let's say I know everyone's had a moment where you just know you're right. Like you just know something without a shadow of a doubt. I know whatever is true. So someone can come to you and say, "Oh, that's not true," and you'll be like, "Yes, it is." And there's nothing they can do to change your mind. That's what happens when you forgive yourself. See, when you forgive yourself and you're like, you know what? Let me move. Let me drop those dead things and move on. Anybody can come to you and say anything negative and have those words that are meant to cut you and hurt you. But when you know, like, no, God's forgiven me and I've forgiven myself and I'm not that person anymore. There's nothing anybody can tell you. So I want my viewers today, like, if you're in a place where you have, or you feel ashamed, or have sinned or done something wrong, forgiveness is the first thing, and it starts with you. The second thing you said, what is the lesson? What is the plan? Okay, we fell. All right, it's over. It happened. It's done. There's no time machine. What's the lesson out of this? And 3, you said surround yourself with people that hold you accountable. Now that's also a tough one because, when you're already in a state, you don't want to hear anything anybody has to say. But it's okay. And just for those who may be the accountable friends, like you say, you said you were really hard at one point, like a coconut shell.
Yes.
My mom always says it does not matter if you're supposed to speak life into someone and they're not ready to receive it yet. You don't become pushy, but you still plant that seed because that seed that you plant, I'm telling you, God's going to use that to soften them up and to further push them into their purpose. And the last thing you said that was wonderful and so practical. Set goals, guys. We've been saying this so many times on our platform. Set goals. If you fail, you're like, you know what? I don't want to be this anymore. Okay, let's start small. What do you need to do to get to where you want to be? This is a great example. I need everyone to just share this broadcast today because our guest is not only amazing and lively and fun, but I'm telling you, he's real. This is real stuff. This is real life. And we're not here on this platform to sugarcoat anything. And we talk about real topics, and everyone, no matter who you are, no matter what you believe in, everyone has made a mistake. Everyone has done something they're embarrassed about, they're ashamed about, and everyone has something that at one point they just can't get over, and it holds you back. Well, we're here to tell you, listen, you're the only one holding yourself back. Forgive yourself and move on. And I'm talking to myself as well. Forgive yourself and move on because there's life ahead of you. There's so much that you need to do, so much that you want to accomplish, and it's never too late, okay? So if you ever feel down, or if you know someone that's just down, just show them this platform, this video right now, because this is real. And this is someone that has been through it and overcome. And I'm just, like I said, I'm so happy to have met you. Thank you for sharing your testimony with us.
Thank you for having me.
Yes.
Thank you for having me. It was
We definitely appreciate you and the message that you brought. I tell you, it's something about when you have experienced something and you're driven to those individuals, because a lot of people don't want to deal with them.
Right.
But when it's a part of your passion and your experience and being used by God to do it, you're just driven to those. Okay, bring them to me. Been there, done that. Bring them to me. You don't want to deal with them. Bring them to me.
Yes.
So again, we want to thank you. And as always, I always want to announce about our Widows and Widowers Empowerment Summit on every segment that we have up until that present time. On July the 17th at 2 p.m., you can obtain your ticket at Eventbrite or our website, www.trophyoflife.org. And to our widows and widowers, we have all kinds of topics. We have entertainment. We have fun. So I want you to be empowered. And if you know anyone who is a widow or a widower, please let them know. And I will also put it in the comment section so that you will have that information at your fingertips. Okay. Thank you again, Alvis. I so appreciate you. God bless you in all of your endeavors.
Thank
And
you.
it's amazing, even though we live around the same area,
You shop at Harris Teeter's?
I do. Am I going to see you there?
You probably see Nikki there. She's
Okay. Oh, I'm going to go in just and ask for her. I don't even have to buy anything. I'm just going to ask for Nikki.
She's at Harris Teeter's every day. So.
Okay. Okay. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you so much for joining us on today. We shall see you tomorrow. At what time, Takira?
1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.